Hi, this is Sven at Manticore Arms, and today we're going to show you how to install the Hellion Enhanced Safety System that we offer. First off, let's take a quick look at the parts that come in that kit. So the first part we've got here is the selector piece itself. You'll notice there's this front piece that sticks off of it. We call that the duck bill. You'll also notice, if you look here, get that a little closer, there's some teeth. These teeth will be on the right side. It'll go in the gun like that. You have two safety selector levers. You'll notice there's an R and an L. That's important because when you're holding these pieces, sometimes it's not entirely obvious. They are not symmetrical. You can see there's a tooth off the bottom of that one. There's a tooth on that, but it is possible you could, in theory, install them backwards, so we have labeled them. So just keep that in mind. It's left and the right. You'll have two screws there. There'll also be an Allen wrench that's included for installing those screws. And then we also have our handy dandy homemade punch here that we'll include with this. So one thing to note, this punch is rather delicate, but it allows you to get into a space that's very hard to get into with a normal punch. You want to have a normal 1/16 inch punch to help with removal of the original safety. Most of the difficulty in this whole installation process is removing the original safety, and we'll go through why that is. So those are your components there. We've got our rifle here, the Hellion. We already made sure it was safe and unloaded. You'll notice the carry handle, or top rail as we sometimes call it, the bolt carrier group, the butt plate have all been removed. You can't see it off camera here, but it's removed. Fore end's been removed. One point I also want to make is if you're new to the gun, taking it apart, you unload, make safe, remove the fore end, but you also then want to remove the butt plate and then take out the bolt carrier group and then remove the top handle. It doesn't seem like you should have to do that, but what happens here, and I just wanted to show this, is the bolt carrier engages in the charging handle. And the way it engages, if you try to lever this off, you're hung up on here. And I don't want to see anybody break this trying to remove it. It's all in the instructions, but just a quick reminder of something to keep in mind. So that's why you got to take the butt plate and therefore then the bolt carrier group out. Okay, so let's assume you've got that all apart. You've got your rifle here. So the next thing we need to do, since we're trying to access some stuff in here, the central safety shaft that's part of the OEM safety assembly, is take the barrel out. The barrel is retained by this lever. This lever has a pin in it, or I'm sorry, this lever has a pin restricting it from moving it. So if I press this button here, you can see how that moves. It won't move when this pin is in. So I usually punch it through this direction. We just have it here so you can see it, so you kind of know what you're looking for. Either way, you can punch it most of the way out, so it just leaves this lever clear, and then you can easily tap it back in later. What you're gonna do is press on this button portion, and what that's gonna allow you to do is when you press on it, and I'm still pressing on it, you can rotate the barrel now. You can rotate it either direction, doesn't matter, but you can rotate it about 45 degrees and pull out while you do it. And what you're actually doing is there's some engagement surfaces on here, and there's a tooth on that lever that's engaging on here to prevent, well, essentially it's preventing the barrel from rotating. These teeth are engaging into the receiver, so it's rotated and locked into position. When you rotate it, there's some cuts that this will come out through. So we got our barrel out. We'll just put that aside. And look at that. Look at how little's left of the gun here. So what comes next is we have our safety levers on fire. You normally have it on safe, but make sure it's on fire. And then it's kind of hard. Actually, it's not too bad to see at this point since we've removed it. We can use the punch to point it out. So if you look right there, you can see, there we go. There's a hole. There's a roll pin in there. It is very, very difficult to see and find initially. From what we've seen, a lot of times they got a little gunk or crud, or even a little bit of the plastic from the lever covering it up. So what you're gonna do is don't take this punch, take your first normal from the store, really good quality hardened 16th inch punch, and you're going to put it on there and give it a good couple of taps to get that pin in there moving. Once it's moving, you can take this and then get it in there, and because of the scallop cut on here, it's a little easier to get in there and tap some more. Now be aware, this is pretty delicate. It may actually break in the procedure. We consider this a consumable piece, but it's really necessary to get that apart. What'll happen is the pin, let's see if we can get the light there, the pin's gonna come out the back side here. Once it's out enough, you can either continue to tap it, or even better, grab it with a little pair of tiny pliers or something like that, like hobby pliers, and wiggle that out. We just need to get that out of the way so the rest of this will come out of the gun. If you get it partially out but not fully out, but if you get it cleared enough that it's clear of this center smaller shaft area, we can still get it apart. So assuming you do that, what you're gonna do is you just, let's see here. Well, you take your right side safety off, ideally. Or if you got that pin oriented, you can kind of rotate this so you can get the pin, grab it with the pliers. And what we're gonna do is just wiggle it, pull it right out the side. So he's done. Now you can see, you got that. You can see a little silver down there. That's actually the spring-loaded detent. You can see the teeth there. That's what controls this safety's position and it locking between safe and fire. And I apologize about the camera jumping on focus a little there. So all you do now is pull on this side. It'll come out, lift it up so it'll clear. See the little duckbill part to the front there. And sometimes it takes a little rotation, but now you've got this side of the safety shaft out. You can see those teeth. All right, so there we go. That's actually the hardest part, is getting that roll pin out of the hole right there, you can see. And on the associated shaft, you can see it right there. Once you've got that out, it's actually pretty simple now. So what we're gonna do is find the left side safety. So let's get the L on there. Our safety shaft, duckbill's heading forward. And we're gonna mount the left side safety on there. And we actually end up using the left side safety as a handle. Let's see, there we go. Sorry, it's hard to keep in camera. These are Torx that we're showing right now. This is actually being filmed before the final production and assembly is done. So I'm not sure if you're gonna see a Torx or just a standard hex head in there. It kind of depends. We're experimenting right now to see which we find is better, both for keeping it locked down and also for installation and removal, just to make sure heads don't get stripped out or anything like that. So you're gonna wanna tighten that screw down nice and snug. And then we're gonna feed it through. And like I said, you gotta do a little wiggling and rolling around to get in position. So actually that popped right in position, which is nice. You can see there the silver detent. This came through, so we're all the way through. I'm going to take the right side safety. And a good way to remember it is that little tab here is facing downward. So there we go. And grab the last screw, or the other screw, I should say. Use our wrench to tighten that down. And there you go. It is installed. So obviously you'll want to reassemble the rifle, make sure it's unloaded, charge it, and then start on safe, pull the trigger. Trigger moves a little bit always. That's just natural to how the trigger mechanism is designed. That's actually the tab, that it's a safety tab there that does some stuff, kind of like a Glock, but it'll move a little bit. But you can see I can't pull it to pull the trigger. Now if I put it in this position, and I don't recommend normally dropping the hammer without the bolt carrier group in there, but just for demonstration we'll do it here. You can hear the hammer drop. So that's how you know everything's good to go and well tested. And then you can test fire it live. So you can see there's a lever on this side and a lever on this side. It's AR shaped. We've done a lot of experimentation with position, size, everything like that. We found this to be the best option you can get. It's all metal construction, 2 screws to hold it together, and very easy to remove if you want to remove it for some reason. All right, well, thank you for listening. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us at info@Manticore Arms, and we're happy to help.